Welcome to Leaders Lab, everybody. It's good to have you. It's Thanksgiving week. We are so thankful for all of you.
Absolutely.
So thankful for all of you and APL Go and the opportunity we have and these drops and all the goodness that's going to come to us in 2022. And we have a really, really big treat in store for you tonight. Pamela Zimmer is going to be sharing tonight. And I met Pamela Zimmer several years ago. We were strangers. We didn't know each other. And we met at a networking function. And we have been fast friends ever since. And historically, actually, she has been my self-care coach. I hired her and I went on her self-care retreat in Mexico about 2 years ago, I think it was. And it was absolutely breathtaking and powerful. She was a business coaching client of mine. So it was funny. We just paid each other. It was like, I'll pay you and then you pay me. And it was fine. We traveled to many, many personal development and business conferences together before the world shut down. That was what we did for fun. And she's one of the smartest businesswomen that I know. And of course, as you all know, has the biggest heart of almost anyone I know, right? It's just the way she loves is so, so beautiful. She's a dear, dear friend, and she is the mother of two beautiful boys, Zachary and Braden. She's married to Will. He is an insurance superstar here in this region. And Pamela was actually an architect. So she's a smarty pants, everybody. She was an architect, had her own firm, and she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, was a stay-at-home mom, went through her journeys and became an entrepreneur, and she's here. Okay, so get this. Here's where she likes to show off. She has 7 best-selling books, everybody. Give her a round of applause. 7. I only have 5. She has 7 best-selling books. Her gift from God, one of them is writing, as you all know, and speaking and training. She is an international speaker and a self-care concierge. She has individual coaching options available to her, which I did for several years, which was incredibly super helpful. The most successful people take really good care of themselves, and they understand that that's super important, right? And there was one other thing. Oh, so if you want, she has a self-care retreat coming up in April in Mexico, and there are still spots available. So ask her about it. It is 5-star, gorgeous, right on the beach, yoga retreat, all vegan food, the best food I've ever had in my life. Hollywood often hires these chefs to come and do private, whatever, dinners for them.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Aaron licked the plate.
Absolutely incredible. So she is going to share with us tonight about the importance of self-care and how to lead from anywhere and how to integrate APL Go in your life and all these wonderful things. So thank you, Pamela, for training us.
Oh gosh, I mean, what an introduction. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. I am so excited to train for you because I get to talk about the thing that I'm most passionate about, which is self-care. And like Dr. Aaron said, it wasn't something that I always did. I had to learn it through my journey, but God has gifted me with the ability and grace to share what I've learned with you all so that you can practice self-care as well. So I have a little slideshow for you, and I'm hoping that it's going to work and all of my things here will not be in the way because I want to see the chat. Okay, can you see that? Awesome. I can see some of you, and I can see the chat, and I can see my slides. Winning. So we're going to talk about self-caring your way to success. And here in Leaders Lab, our theme for these however many weeks, 10 weeks that we're doing it, is leader of self. And how appropriate that we're talking about self-care. It's not other care. It's not you care. It's not they care. It's not our care. It's self-care. So we are going to lead ourselves with self-care. And So the first question that of course we have to ask is, what is self-care? And I want you guys to just type in the chat, put down, let me know, what is self-care to you? Because I have a definition, but I want to know what it means to you. And as you're typing that in, I'll just share my definition, that it really is what helps us become the best version of ourselves. Yeah, looking after yourself, rest to recharge, making time for me, taking out time to recharge, protecting my energy. Absolutely, absolutely. Putting myself first. And we're putting ourselves first, not in a selfish way, but in a self-care way. It is not selfish to put ourselves first, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't possibly take care of the people that we're meant to serve. Um, when someone asks me what I do, and I say I'm your self-care concierge and I help you take care of you on every level, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, so you can do what you were put on the planet to do. Self-care is the vehicle to fulfill your purpose. And it's the vehicle for you to become the best version of yourself in that fulfilling of your purpose. And we know that we aren't necessarily what we do, we are who we be, but in the container of what we do, it's who we be, that what we do. Does that make sense? That was a little up here. That just kind of came to me. We're not what we do, we are who we be. But in the container in which we be, it's generally the container in which we do. So they go hand in hand. We can't be who we are created to be and do what we were put on this planet to do without having both of them. They cross over. And self-care, again, is that vehicle to get us to becoming the best version of ourselves, so we can do what we were put on the planet to do, so we can fulfill our purpose. What is our purpose? That's a big question, right? Here in Leaders Lab, we've kind of talked about vision and dreaming, and we've written our introductions, but what is our purpose? And this is very important in terms of what I'm going to talk about here in a minute, which is integration. Because if we don't know what our purpose is, we can't integrate anything. And you can have a purpose that's for now. You can have a purpose that was before, a purpose that's for now, and a purpose that is in the future that we don't even know what it is. For example, there was a time where my purpose really was to be a stay-at-home mom and to be the best darn stay-at-home mom that I could. And that's not to say that I'm not still being the best stay-at-home mom that I can be. And my purpose has also grown now as an entrepreneur, as someone who is working APL Go, as a leader, as a corporate director, as a coach, as a speaker, as a retreat host. All those things are also my purpose. So your purpose can grow with you. You can kind of shed your purpose if it no longer serves you. And there is a purpose for each and every one of us that we don't even know yet. And that's kind of like out in the future. That's a whole other talk. But we have to know what our purpose is. So how do we know what our purpose is? Part of what we need to do first is take a step back and ask ourselves, what do we need to fill our cup up? Because I would bet 99.9% out of the time that the things that we do to fill our cup has something to do with our purpose. For example, I didn't just become the self-care concierge. It was through my journey of needing to do that, of needing to learn this lesson of self-care. As I went through 6 years of postpartum depression, I had to learn how to fill my cup through self-care so that I could teach it. So that became my purpose. You know, Garth, you're an engineer, right? What fills you up? Looking at roads and blueprints and all kinds of plans and charts and Excel spreadsheets. And my architect side loves those things too. So you're filling your cup, which in essence is part of your purpose of being an engineer, if that makes sense. I'm just using Garth as an example. So give me like a thumbs up or a yes in the chat, just so I know that you're tracking This is all new stuff that I am delivering to you. It's not a new concept for me. It's just how I'm delivering it is new. So I want to make sure that you guys are tracking. Awesome. Cool. So I want you then in the chat also, what fills your cup? What fills you? Yes, engineers are so weird. They're unique. We are all unique. So what fills your cup? For me, it's having time with God. It's being out in nature. It's experiencing those negative ions. Now that I know why I feel so good in water and by the river and at the ocean and in all of these places where there are negative ions, now I know why I feel so good. We all know that because that's what Sergi has created for us in these drops. But what fills us up? Beach time, hanging with Garth, serving, hiking, walking. Love it, love it, love it. Being outdoors, exploring God's country, working out. Yes. So all of those things fill our cup. We have to. It is absolutely a necessity to fill our cup. I know we've all heard that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's true. Have you ever taken, I mean, this is a tiny little one and it actually has my drops in it. So it's not technically empty, but let's pretend that this didn't have any liquid in it and I'm trying to pour it and there's nothing coming out of it. We have to fill these cups up first. These cups being our purpose, what drives us, our self-care. And I love it. Keep putting in all of those things in the chat. I love it. Sprucing up your home. Yes, come to my home. Listening to music while walking, biking. All these things are amazing. And have you noticed too that a lot of these things are not things that we have to spend a lot of money on, but they're things that we get to take time doing, which leads me to my very next slide. Because how many of us have ever said this? I don't have time to work my APL Go business the way I need to, want to, should be. Therefore, I certainly don't have time for self-care. Have you ever said that? I've said that. And the first thing that I want to point out here is we should never should on ourselves. We should never need to or have to. Want to, yes. Get to, yes. But we should never feel like we need to, should to, have to, because that puts us into comparison and that's a whole other rabbit trail that we don't want to go down. So my answer, yes, Kristen, once or twice a day, you think of this. I don't have time to work my APL Go business the way I want to. Therefore, I certainly don't have time for self-care. So that statement is kind of like, it's an either or statement, right? It's not, yeah, it's just either or. So what if this, and apologies for this little chart here being kind of rough because I did it in numbers and then screenshotted it over and it got fuzzy. So what if this is kind of like a sample 24 hours in a day. And granted, I know that not everyone has a job, not everyone has kids and family at the same stages in life, but just sort of in an example, what if this was your day, right? You have 6 hours on kids and family, and this could be getting them up in the morning, getting them off to school, helping them with homework, sports, grocery shopping, all of that stuff that has to happen at home just to make your household run. And then you have 8 hours of your job or your work. Then there's life in there. That's, when you're out at a fundraising event or you're at a Thanksgiving dinner and a cocktail party, or you're at, something out in the community. Maybe that's the mechanic called and said, oh, your car's going to be in the shop an extra 3 days. And now you have to take time to go get a rental car, life. We all know that life happens and that's a broad category. But what if you have a couple hours of life happening every day, right? And then of course we want to sleep. And here I'm only putting 7 hours of sleep. And we know from the talk that Aaron's given a few times that the ideal amount of sleep is 7 to 9 hours. That's the ladder of vibrancy. 7 to 9 hours is ideal. I don't like 7 hours of sleep. I'm more of an 8 or 9er, but we got to squeeze an hour or so of APL go in here. So we're kind of going to squeeze out either sleep, or if we want our 9 hours, then we're going to squeeze out life, or maybe we're going to squeeze out some kids or family, or maybe we're just not going to get our work done. And then we're going to have consequences if we have a job. So, I mean, what if this, where we're just trying to wedge APL go into our already busy life? What if this turned into this, where this shaded area here is where APL go overlaps work and life. And that's not to say that it can't also overlap some of this area too with kids and family, because I don't know about you, but I enroll my kids and I enroll my husband in what I'm doing with APL go, especially when there's a promo going on, especially when there's a Turks and Caicos trip and we're all trying to get points. They're enrolled with me. So I'm doing APL go all of here, right? And I'll come back to something in a second, but what if this, where we're just wedging in APL go into like the end of the day, turned into this, where we're overlapping APL go into what we're already doing? How do we do that? We integrate our time. So we have scenario one, APL go business is something separate, something we've added into our already full life. Or I'm going to choose scenario two. I don't know about you. Who's choosing scenario two? Put which scenario you want in the chat, 1 or 2. 2 is your APL go business is part of your life and it's integrated into everything you already do. 2. So how do we do this? So there's 5 steps, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit fast because I want time to discuss this. There's 5 steps to integrating APL go into our already full lives. Step 1 is we are not multitasking. Again, that's not to say that we can't talk about APL go or do APL go when we're at home with our family. Again, promo time comes, trip comes, enroll your family. But we're not on a conference call or talking with a client or writing a book or, at the soccer game, making dinner all at the same time. Multitasking is overrated. Multitasking means that we are actually not doing anything to 100% capacity. And I don't know about you, but we want to do things as the best version of ourselves. And when we're multitasking, we are lowering that bar and we're lowering that expectation. So no multitasking. We are present and we are going to stick to our schedule. Keeping your schedule helps us not multitask, because then we know, okay, I'm going to work, a couple hours on my job. And then I know that this afternoon I have a soccer game that I'm coaching or a football game that I'm going to. So you're not thinking about what you're doing later because it's already scheduled in your calendar. So step 1. Yeah, a lot of us don't know how to not multitask, but if we can kind of compartmentalize things a little bit more within the broader scope of work and schedule things out, it helps us be more focused and get things done faster. So we're not multitasking. That's step 1. Step 2, we're going to ditch the embarrassment and the shame. There was a little bit of conversation about this in our Leaders Lab Facebook group about, and I think this was the other week where we talked about our books, about calling it a side hustle. We're not going to call this a side hustle. You're in or you're out, right? When you call something a side hustle, it brings it down. It negates it. It gives it less confidence. It makes you appear less confident. So we're going to ditch the embarrassment and shame, and we're going to have belief. And I know we've talked about this before too, that we have to have belief in the industry of network marketing. We have to have belief in the product. We have to have belief in the company. We have to have belief in the comp plan. And we have to have, most importantly, belief in ourselves. It doesn't mean that when you stop calling it a side hustle, you have to then all of a sudden be a 40-hour full-time network marketer. We can all be professionals and work it as little or as much as we want. No more side hustle. We're going to own it. So that's how we're going to start to integrate it into APL Go. Or that's how we're also going to integrate APL Go into what we're already doing. Believe. Step 3 is we're going to attach APL Go to our core purpose. So again, the example of Garth being an engineer. Well, what is something that shares the characteristics or the values of Garth being an engineer, right? He likes the technical stuff, the data, the scientific facts. So where does APL Go overlap with being an engineer? And attach that together. Similar, let's say, for example, you're a teacher. Where does the value and the characteristics of being a teacher, why you became a teacher in the first place, overlap with APL Go? Okay, well, maybe you became a teacher because you want to help kids. Well, what part of APL Go can help kids? Well, maybe they can take some brain drops for focus. Maybe they can take the grow drops for immune support. Maybe your fellow teachers can take all of them too, so that they can be more focused and maintain their immune system health. Where can you overlap the purpose of what you're doing with APL Go and integrate it? And I guarantee that every profession, every job, from stay-at-home mom to banker, has something that you can find to integrate APL Go into. I guarantee it. And I'm happy to help you all do that after. We can do it in the chat, in our Facebook group. I'm happy to help you do that, because that's the key. When you find a way to integrate it, I'm your self-care concierge, right? The drops are one of the tools that I use when I provide self-care for my clients. Coaching, speaking, retreats, all of those things are different tools. I don't say, well, I'm a network marketing professional with this company and it's kind of my side hustle. And, oh, but I also, like, I wrote this book. I don't do that, right? I have tools. We all have tools. You're a teacher, you have tools. You're an engineer, you have tools. You're a banker, you have tools. APL Go is a tool in your toolbox. So find what overlaps between your core purpose of what you do and why you do it in APL Go. How are we doing so far? Good? Okay. Step 4, listen with APL Go ears. And I love this one. We're not eavesdropping. We're not going to be like creepers, like, oh, hi, can I get in on your conversation there? Nope, we're not going to be weird. Don't be weird. We're just going to listen, and we're going to listen in the places that we already go every day. For example, whoever goes to the gym or an exercise class or the grocery store or the library or Starbucks or a coffee shop. Whoever hears conversations, whoever goes to a sports game, either as a coach, as an observer, whoever goes to, I don't know, anywhere, whoever goes places. We all do, and we all should be, because the key to APL Go is talking to humans. So if we're not talking to humans, then we have no business being here. When we go places, we can listen with our APL Go ears. And again, not creepily, but what if you heard the checkout lady telling the person in front of you how, oh my gosh, her back is killing her. She's been standing here all day, or this is her second shift. How can you take that and start a conversation where you could actually help her and serve her or him, right? And you can be, hey, I don't mean to be weird. I wasn't planning on eavesdropping, but I just overheard your conversation and I have something that might help. Would you be open to taking a look? I've got a couple samples. Or can I send you a 5-minute video? If I sent you a 5-minute video, would you watch it? Listen with APL Go ears everywhere you go. And then step 5, always have samples with you. Because what happens if the checkout lady at the grocery store says, oh my gosh, yes, I would love something for my sore back. Well, then boom, there you go, out of your purse. Here, try some Slide, and then I'll call you tomorrow. Always have samples with you. Always, always, always. You don't have to have, I have this thing. I have my little, sample kit. You don't have to have something like this. You can even just have a little baggie with a handful of cut up drops, single drops. You don't have to have this, but I will tell you one thing. Anytime, yeah, Joby, I see yours. Anytime I go to a networking event, anytime I have a coffee meeting, anytime I go to someone's house, I either have this in my little bag with me or it's in the car, because you never know. I was just at a wine tasting at someone's house the other night, and she's like, oh my gosh, I was just going to ask you if I could have a sample of that. Like, what's the one you have for allergies? And I'm like, yeah, I have some in my purse. Give me just a second. Never leave home without your samples. It's like American Express. Never leave home without it. Okay, so to summarize how we're going to integrate APL Go into our already full daily lives. 1, we're not multitasking. 2, we're going to have belief. So no more embarrassment, no more shame. You are an APL Go ambassador. I mean, maybe we don't have that rank title yet, but you're an ambassador for this company. Be proud, because we have something to be proud of. We're going to attach APL Go to our core purpose, what it is that we are doing. We're going to listen with APL Go ears. We're not going to eavesdrop. We're not going to be creepy and weird. We're just going to listen so that we can help people. And we're always going to have samples with us. Okay, are we good? All right. Yeah, you need a man first, Kevin. Okay, so when we integrate APL Go into our already busy, full life, we actually get to create more time instead of, again, trying to wedge APL Go into the wee hours of the day. We actually create more time. And in that more time, we get to do self-care. We get to fill our cups. We get to figure out what our purpose is for the next phase. We get to go after our goals. We get to sleep more. We get to connect with ourselves. We get to lead ourselves, because it's leader of self, right? That's why we're here in Leaders Lab. We get to dream and go back to the vision that we wrote and read that every day. So we get to create more time for ourselves. So before I give you homework, I kind of want to open it up for questions and chat and discussion and what's coming up for everyone. What is coming up? And I'll stop sharing so that we can have a little discussion. And then I will return back to sharing for my very last slide and the homework. So what's coming up for everyone? Feel free to unmute yourself. No
I like
one?
what you're saying about multitasking, because I think that we're programmed to multitask, and then nothing really gets done 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that women are probably a lot better at multitasking than men are, because we have, in most houses, more responsibility for family and things that go on. But I really like that idea of not multitasking. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because we're good at it doesn't mean we should be doing it.
Exactly.
Well, and part of it might be too that we are calling it multitasking, and the reason women are better at it is we've already learned how to integrate some of it. So
Yes.
while I agree the multitasking is a bad thing, we can't do it. Our brain can't do it, can it, Dr. Aaron?
Right.
So if I could add just something that I've recently kind of come to is I feel like a blank slate right now, which I guess is a very blessed kind of a place to be. once I figured out that I felt like I was playing hooky, I was started to become much more open to what was going on with me, and feeling much more comfortable about being at home after 35 years in the work world, where all that crap is going on, that we showed graphically. And with that, trying to find that new purpose, and refinding, some of the stuff that, and remembering, and, hearkening back, if you will, and then just what is it on the go forward. So I feel a little bit of a blank slate right now, and, looking to fill that up. And obviously then there's that balance of integrating self-care into that as something to be integrated, as something natural, and not something to necessarily be worked on, but that it is just part of life.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. And it's part of daily life.
Right.
It's just as important as hydrating and eating and getting rest. It's one of those essential things. And how beautiful that you are in this time and this season of a blank slate that you get to write. Challenging and beautiful at the same
Can I
time.
can I offer something? And this is not with any intention to offend any woman, because I'd be dumb. We're way outnumbered, Garth and Tom. Maybe it's not that women are better at multitasking than men are. It's that women are expected to multitask because they have all these responsibilities. And you don't have to ask very many housewives why they're so friggin' exhausted at the end of the day. And if you do, you probably get a smack across the head, is because all of the stuff they've had to do and try to label as multitasking, they're completely exhausted and overwhelmed by the end of the day, especially with young kids.
Mm.
So there's this unfair expectation that women are supposed to be good at it, and this pressure to do it, which probably causes a whole bunch of other problems in their lives. If the expectation was removed and we retrained ourselves to integrate, possibly even eliminate some things, delegate some things to spouses, then maybe some women who find themselves very overwhelmed by all the work they have to do would feel less so because they're not being forced to multitask. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. And
Kevin,
it
I like
definitely
that.
comes with expectation. Absolutely, Kevin. I think you're right on.
Pamela, what would you say to that as far as the expectation piece? Because I know the gals coming up in my time frame, in the 80s, we were, at least in the education that I had, was you can do anything. But there was still the yeah, you can do anything, but make my dinner. And I fortunately don't have that kind of a spouse. I have a partner, at the same time, the expectation.
Oh, she kind of cut off there. I'll try to answer what I did hear from that, Lisa. I think in terms of the expectation, and this is true in any area of life, is it comes down to communication, right? So if someone has an expectation that is not the same as another person, the challenge and where there's going to be friction and butting heads and the struggle is when that communication doesn't happen. So if I'm expected to do, X, Y, and Z, something's got to give. And if I don't communicate what that is that's going to give, either my sanity is going to give and I'm going to snap at the kids, or dinner's not going to be what you want or when you want it, or the kids aren't going to get their homework done. I'm just giving examples. One of those things is going to have to give, because we're human. We're not robots. We're not, we can't do it all. And I think it's a societal issue that has been sort of handed down from generation to generation. And it's finally, at least in my opinion and in my life, it's a conversation that is finally happening where it's actually okay for me to say, I can't do that. Not that I don't want to serve you, I can't do that. So it's just like anything, communication.
I think that's a huge point. And Joby will tell you, we've had conversations around that idea that, you know, while I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking, oh, Bill will never say okay or yes or agree to that. And it's actually in my head. It's not anything, an assumption that's been checked, because virtually every time that conversation takes place, Bill's right there going, yeah, go.
Yeah.
Go. And even if it sounds sketchy, even if he's like, not quite sure about this, he's right there. So I'm the only one that's giving myself that message.
Yeah. And sometimes we just have to communicate with ourselves. Like, okay, well, Lisa, what do you, oh no, oh no, stop that voice. No, this is the voice I want to listen to. Right. And I do this all the time too. Like, oh my gosh, he's never going to say no to this. How am I going to talk to him about this? I'm just going to avoid the conversation. And then we have the conversation. I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. He totally supports me. Like, what did I stress over for? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Monica, you had your hand up.
Yes. Hi, thank you. One of the things that struck me in the conversation was what you said about getting rid of the shame. And this is like the second time that I hear that in someone that's been working on network marketing, because I think that sometimes that's what happens to me. Like, I've been doing all these many other things, or like, as you were saying, like, well, I'm not an engineer, but if I was saying like, I'm an engineer, how am I now selling drops here and there? And I think that in my case, I really have to just get out of that mental box that is blocking me from being more open to that. Like, I talk to humans and I talk to humans around me, but I'm not like absolutely totally open with everyone that I know about what I'm doing for the most part. And also I'm doing so many other things. And not that this is not important, but I am prioritizing like how and when and in which media I should introduce each of my different topics or businesses in a way. But pretty much shame. I need to get out of my mental shame box to keep going.
Yes, you get to get out of your shame box. You get to release that and let it go. And it's a process and it's a practice, and you'll get there. And we have an amazing company to practice being proud of. So yay for APL Go, right? Thank you, Monica.
I'm going to jump in really quick because as you were talking, Pamela, I whispered into Aaron's ear and I said, I need to get my pyramid scheme video done, because I have this short little presentation in my head about, is APL Go a pyramid scheme and what that means, and make it shareable. And, you know, for you guys, as you encounter people that ask if it's a pyramid scheme, is one, but two, and more importantly, is I think a lot of that is the story that we're telling ourselves of, are we in a network marketing company, or are we given an opportunity to launch an international health and wellness business? Mm-hmm. And that's the way I approach people. I said, my wife and I were asked to help launch a health and wellness business. We're already in 53 countries. We've been at this for 14 months. We're having a tremendous amount of fun.
People think we own it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So,
no, we don't own it.
And now for me, I've gotten to the point where if, and I want to stress if, the conversation goes to, is it one of those network marketing or pyramid schemes? I say, yes, it is. We've been in a number of them. And this one has got us absolutely over the moon excited with what's happening. And I can share some of the successes people on our team have, but I think it's a shift in the mindset of where you're at. Is it you're now doing another one of these things on the side, or is it you've been asked to help launch something that is going to change how people see and get their health and wellness?
Yes, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think a lot of us shy away from that question. Well, is it one of those network marketing things? And we're like, oh yeah, it is, but, and then we try to defend it, right? Instead of, yes, it absolutely is. And knowing what I know now, I would never not be part of a network marketing company like this.
And I think that's a big part of it, because as you've heard Aaron talk about, belief has a voice.
Mhm.
And if you can confidently say with conviction that it is, that's going to disarm them. When
Mhm.
they see that you have conviction over what you're doing, that will disarm their negativity.
And when we have conviction, it's easier to find that alignment and that integration between APL Go and what we're already doing, because it's just part of who we are. Kristen, I loved your comment. It's like having split personalities. Absolutely. No more split personalities. You're Kristen. You do a lot of things, one of which is APL Go, but it integrates into what you're already doing. So yeah, I love that.
I think one of the things too, and I'll shut up so others can jump in here, but getting to that point of something that Aaron and I, when we were at the Las Vegas event and we were on stage and we wrapped things up, and I don't remember how we got to this point, but it was the 3 B's, the beliefs. Do you believe in the
four?
Four.
She stated them.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry, you stated them, but I think if you can individually, personally believe in the product, believe in the company, believe in the owner, believe in the opportunity, that confidence will come.
Mhm.
So revisit those beliefs. And if you have them strong enough, I think the rest will follow.
Mhm.
One of the things I think it makes it a little bit easier for us in APL Go, at least from my perspective, when I first saw the program, when I first was introduced, it seemed like people were saying, yes, we are MLM, and yes, we're really good at it. There seemed to be less embarrassment and less in shame about it than I've noticed in other companies. So maybe we need to like go back to that kind of like rah, this is what we do and we do it really well kind of thing, or at least individually do that. And that might make it easier, give you the confidence. Yes, we're an MLM, and damn it, we're the best one on the face of the planet.
Yep. I'm in a, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just real quick, Warren Buffett, the 3rd wealthiest person in the world, he is a huge proponent of network marketing.
He owns 7 of them.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that is a self-made billionaire. And he owns 7 network marketing companies, and he is on videotaped interviews touting the benefits of network marketing. So your cousin who poo-poos network marketing, and you've got Warren Buffett who gives away billions of dollars a year in charities and still drives a 1972 Chevy something and lives in his original house. If he's touting I love Warren Buffett, so that's why I threw that in there. If he's touting the benefits of network marketing, I think that has some validity to it.
Mhm. Yep.
I would like to say,
Joby, I'll get to you in a sec, but do I have permission? Can we go a couple minutes over just so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anna was before me.
Go ahead, Anna.
Sorry. First of all, I'm Anna. I'm usually not on camera. I'm the girl in the Dominican Republic. I upgraded my internet and I am here. So a couple things just with what Monica was saying. I've been reading a book because I did an interview for a company and it's called Noble Sales Purpose. And I think for all of us, we really need to think of our own noble sales purpose and really wrap our mind around it. And also with the conversation before that of the expectations that people have. I don't have kids and I'm not married, so I don't have the expectations, but I see it with all of my friends, and I've always been the biggest cheerleader for them taking time, giving themselves care. That's how I moved to the Dominican. I planned all the girls' trips to give them that rest that they needed. But I think a lot of it comes back to our own mindset and what we believe for me, I still get the question, when are you having kids? I'm 43 and single. Like, I get over the fact I'm not having kids. Like, people, they're going to put those out there, but you just have to be strong and confident and know yourself. And whether it's sales or taking time for yourself or whatever it is, it's all going to come back to our mindset, having that noble sales purpose and knowing what we want and what the reason we're doing this. So just my
Awesome.
thoughts.
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah. Pamela, you know,
Joey.
to tie it back up to self-care and to listen, I mean, many of you know when COVID hit, I lost a 20-year, build of a consulting company, which I really enjoyed. I loved, I felt very confident. I knew I was helping people. I knew I was in my place. Like I was good at what I did, love what I did. But it was over, like ended. And in some areas of my life, I've tried to rebuild it because I need to pay some bills, period. And it's an easy go-to. But there was a day, and I don't know when this was, Pamela, there was a day when I realized no matter how good I am at what I do, no matter how well paid I am at what I do, I still have to get on an airplane, leave my family. And again, I stay in the best hotels in New York City. I eat the best food and get it and bill it all. I mean, I'm well cared for in that business, but it still is not something I want to rebuild because one day I realized every time I go, they put a value on me. It's a high value, but they still someone puts a value on me. And it's do the work, get a banana. That's what Cheryl says. Do the work, get a banana. Do the work, get it. I don't care what the work is. You're still doing the work and getting a banana. This business, and Jenny said that a moment ago, when you understand if you do the work and you get a banana, actually you do the work for a long time, no bananas, but then one day you do the work and you get a banana. And then over time you do the work and you get 2 bananas. And I mean, tonight my team is on here. While I'm here being a Coke machine, I've got 2 other folks on here. Below them, they've got a rep who's signing up a rep tonight. And I'm not doing a damn thing about it. I'm supporting it. I'm giving little hearts to it. I'm doing little these things, but I'm a Coke machine. So I'm not doing the work and I'm getting a banana, and it is a self-care thing when you understand this is the industry where if you pour into people, you love on people. And like Erin always says, you talk to humans with this product, this comp plan, this president, at this time, I don't know how we can't do this. I don't know how I'm not doing it more days and more hours in my day, So from a self-care thing, I love the conversation. Thank you so much for your amazing training tonight. But this is the place where whether you used to call it a side gig or not, and now you're trying to integrate it, which is my goal to even better integrate it. It is part of my identity. I've gotten to that part, which is fun, but I need to do more of it. I need to do it. I need to commit more hours of a day to it because I really do believe that if I build this business, I'm building people, I'm helping people, I'm helping people help people. And I don't know if it was Jenny said it. Is it the truest form of freedom? Someone that just nailed, was that Jenny earlier tonight?
Well, Kari tonight, I loved what he said, that this is being able to do what you want, when you want, where you want. And I think that is tying into what you're trying to say, the point that you're driving home, that, it's creating time. Working this business creates
it's
time.
creating time. It leverages time. It compresses time. It also takes 3 and 5 and how many years to do that? It just does.
Mhm.
Because like anything else, it's a business. My consulting business, to be on top of the world where I was loving what I was doing and how much I was doing it, and where I was doing it, all that was a 20-year build, a 20-year build. And so I can't come and I can't bring folks into this business thinking, oh, in a year, you're going to be great. No, you're not. You'll be marginal, probably. We have a great team. We have great support. We have great systems. We are the right place to be to learn how to do this. It's still going to take you hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of doing the work, and you'll get better, and then do the work, get free bananas. Self-care.
Yes.
Self-care. Thank you for tonight.
Yes. So speaking of doing the work, who wants some homework? Okay, I'm gonna share again because self-care is a daily thing. So what do we get to do for our homework? We get to write a day in the life of ourselves. And we get to write how we are on purpose, how we are integrating into what we're already doing, how we are practicing our self-care and filling our cup. So take a typical day. I know some of us don't even have one day that is ever the same to another day, but just pick one. Pick Thursday, pick Tuesday, pick Sunday. Just pick a day that is kind of similar for the day of the week and tell us, what is it like? What's it like? A day in the life of Joby, of Catherine, of Lisa, of Garth, of Anna, of Yvette, of Maxanne, of Sheila, a day in the life. That's your homework.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This is like my real life, not the life I want it to be in 2 years, or is it my real sucky life?
No, this is what you want it to be. This is your vision for your
Oh.
life. Thank you for clarifying that. This is, if you were integrating, if you were practicing the self-care that you want to be.
Okay.
Life didn't suck.
Yeah, we're not gonna document the sucky day.
I'm not
We're gonna document
The difference
the day
between
we want to have.
it's the difference between 1 snooze button and 27 snooze buttons.
Right. Yeah.
And no alarm clock at all.
Right.
Fine.
Right, no alarm.
Yeah. Yeah.
A dog
right.
that doesn't
Although
wake
I'm
up.
intrigued now, I want to know what your sucky life is like, Catherine.
I know. I was like, I want to know what everyone's life was. I'm such a like creeper. I just want
Maybe
to.
I'll write 2 stories.
You're a
There
psychologist.
you go. You could do a before and an after for extra credit.
Oh,
Do I get a free vacation to Mexico?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Not by us.
You get it to Turks and Caicos, actually.
Well, can everyone say thank you to Pamela?
Thank you,
so
Thank
much.
you, Pamela.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you,
Pamela.
guys.
Thank
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pamela. It was really
Thank
great.
you.
Everyone, have a good night.
And just remember that no one wants to follow a frazzled leader who's, not taking care of themselves.
that's a
They
good
want
thing.
to follow the leader that is confident, that is balanced, that is calm. So do your self-care because self-care isn't selfish. It's
Essential.
And attractive.
Essential is
Oh,
her tagline.
sorry.
Oh my God.
and attractive. Yeah, I'll take that too.
And do the self-care that will get you on that beach in Turks and Caicos. Do not forget your November orders.
Mhm.
Triple dip, November and December. It's a double, triple dip.
Oh.
Yep.
Come on, Garth. It's a math thing. It's an engineering thing. It's a double, triple dip.
Yep.
If you get it done.
That sounds like a genetic
510.
that the Russians would get
510.
9.8 on.
Next week, we get to hear from the incredible Anna Casal. She's going to be teaching us on the bank personality system. It's going to be incredible. So thank you, Anna. Thank you, Leaders Lab.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Leaders
Thank
Club.
you.
Everybody. I look forward to reading homeworks.
Was that
Happy
music
Thanksgiving, y'all.
or was someone?
Americans.
Happy
No, someone was
Thanksgiving.
coughing.